I'm Corbett Wall with USDA Livestock and Grain Market News. Here with your weekly feeder and stocker cattle market summary for the week ending October the 26th, where calves are the main thing that's being sold around this week and at this time of the year. And calf prices are uneven, ranging mostly from $3 lower to $3 higher. And it could be within one sale or two auctions 10 miles apart or 2 days apart. Or it's just very early in the week the demand was slightly better than it was late in the week. Some places just better here and there. You know, it's always who shows up at the auctions and who's got the most money to bid with, but that's always your market. But it seemed like it was more so this week, as it was just kind of tough to get a pin on which direction this calf market's going. Of course, in Oklahoma, central and southern Oklahoma, that's your best demand. You know, you had calves selling $2 to $6 higher on the steers there in Oklahoma City. But in other places, not quite so good. Across the southeast, predominantly steady to $3 lower, but at the same time, you had some markets that were steady to $3 higher. And it's mostly due to this weather pattern, and you've got highs on Monday and Tuesday there in the mid 80s across most of the country, and then by the time you got to Thursday, your highs may have been in the low 40s. And it's just suicide trying to buy calves, commingle calves, especially unweaned types, in that kind of weather. It's very inconsistent, and so that was the main problem there with your inconsistency in the calf market. Yearlings, there's less yearlings on the market every week. They sold steady to $2 higher. Most of your feedlots are having to settle for long-time weaned calves weighing over 6.5, which is fine. Most of them have been weaned long enough. The ones that they're purchasing that they'll feed similar to a yearling, they are not bringing quite up to what a true yearling is bringing, but that market has closed up a lot in the last few weeks, and within just a few weeks, that's all there will be is big feeding calves weighing, you know, up from over 6.5 up into the 8s. But discounts continue severely on those balling calves weighing over 5.5. And it's, you know, we've got some awful good products out there to kind of try to keep these calves from getting sick, but it is just hard work, and they're worth so much money, even at a discount, that you just hate to even try to buy them in this kind of weather. You'd rather wait for maybe another week or two and hope that we get a harder frost across more of the country, and that those temperatures stay consistently cooler, and have a lot better chance of doing that. And so your best demand on the calves is down in Oklahoma there, where your wheat's the best. Best demand on your feeding cattle is in the northern plains. And on those bigger calves, North Dakota and Phillips, South Dakota this week, you had your best price that I saw on a string of fancy steers and heifers weighing around $7.75. There was 4 loads of each. The steers averaged $7.75 at $166, and the heifers also average the same weight at $7.75, and they bring $151. And then those are huge prices right there. You figure a very conservative break even on those, saying that those cattle perform all they can do with the least amount of extra expenses for freight and other things on there. And you're looking at a break even around $1.40 and probably over that. $1.40 fat, and right now your best board there is April, and it's at 135, and it just seems unattainable at this point, but awfully nice cattle, and they should feed as well as they can. But your cattle on feed last week was very bullish, especially your placement total, was very bullish there. Your smallest September placement on record, and it was the smallest September placement by 140,000 head. You would have thought that would have emboldened some investment, especially by these funds to into the cattle futures, but in fact cattle futures struggled all week with a couple of tough days there, and most of your out front months closed about $2 lower. So just nothing to really churn things right now because everybody's so afraid of the feed costs, which are very surmountable. And it just seems like the closer we get up to this record fat cattle price of $1.30, which in the northern plains, your fed cattle this week did sell steady to $1 higher from 127 to 128. Down the southern plains, it was steady to 50 lower at 127. But we're getting close to that 130. Going to be a lot of resistance at that 130 mark, and so your board's struggling. But we've got tight supplies, tighter runs everywhere. In all parts of the country, you're seeing lighter runs of calves or lighter runs of yearlings, just not a lot of available cattle for sale out there. And you look at what the drought did. You look out the west, in Wyoming and places like that, they had a horrible, horrible summer, nothing to eat, had no hay, had to sell cattle off early. Torrington Livestock Commission there has a big cow sale all the time, but they sold record numbers of cows all summer long. You'd think they'd be out of them. Just in the past month, they've sold 13,000 cows on their Friday cow and bull sale, which is twice as many as they sold at the same sales a year ago. And that country is just not going to have anywhere near the cow-calf production that they've had in recent years, and it'll take years and years and years to recover from this drought. But you look at your regional weighted averages this week, 700 to 800 pound steer in the north central states cost you $149.43 compared to $148.13 last week and $141.69 a year ago. Down the south central states, a 500 to 600 pound steer cost you $157.31 compared to $158.08 last week and $146 even a year ago. And down the southeast, a 400 to 500 pound steer averaged $152.66 compared to $156.93 last week and $137.09 a year ago. That wraps up your feeder summary for this week. Check out our website for more market information at marketnews.usda.gov. And from the Regional Market News Office in St. Joe, Missouri, we'll talk to you next week.